So PJ, we're here talking about Outlier founders and what it really takes to endure through that 10-year plus marathon, the sleepless nights, all the challenges. In the founders that you've backed, what would you say are some common traits between those who really make it through and push through to a successful end at the end of that journey?
Well, I think there are quite a few things that come to mind. One is this relentless ability to just keep on going and just not give up even if the goings get really tough, which they do. Even for the most successful companies that I've ever been involved with, they've had times where a normal person would have folded. Yeah. I do think that is probably the most important ability to sort of keep going and to keep the enthusiasm and the sense of urgency for themselves and for their sort of immediate surroundings to sort of buy into that idea. And that's, as you can hear, that's not so much about, let's say, a skill in its own right. It's an attitude, it's a mindset, and it's something that, and where does that come from? That's what I've thought a lot about. I think sometimes it's like this enormous focus on a problem to be solved, and that problem to be solved is important for that person or those people specifically. So it's not just let's say a problem that you can make money out of. It's a problem that's important.
Are founders today ambitious enough?
Founders definitely think big enough nowadays. I was a little worried in Stockholm specifically maybe 7-8 years ago when there was an idea that there was something magical in the waters here, that you could basically combine lifestyle with founding an outlier company, which I think is a pretty dangerous notion to have, because you can't. There's no way. Just as little as you can become a Olympic champion and you can sort of combine that with a normal lifestyle. If you want to build something that's truly extraordinary, you have to go all in, and it takes a long time, and it basically consumes all your attention. Now, I think over the past 2 or 3 years, I think that has changed dramatically, and and I think Europe as a whole has stepped up to the plate in that regard, which I find very interesting and very good, because we have the talent, we have the access to market, and we should just make sure that we build at least as strong companies as the US do.
So speaking of it, what are your thoughts on the state of the European ecosystem today?
I don't see any difference in founder quality. I don't see any difference in access to talent anymore. You did that 10 years ago, for sure. I don't see any difference in access to capital either. Now, what has perhaps happened due to the new administration's also much tougher stance on immigration means that quite a lot of the talent that were having a mindset of going to the US are having second thoughts about that, which I think is an opportunity for Europe. If you look at the what would be then the response from the European ecosystem, I think that sometimes we have a tendency to hope a little bit too much about what the government can do about things. And if you think of, for instance, the Swedish success in tech world has almost nothing to do with what the government has done. They have been, frightfully absent. So I think let's not think that the government can do stuff for the startup ecosystem. What I do think they should do, though, is to pursue this idea of a simplified administrative jurisdiction, the 28th member state that they are actually talking about right now.
I mean, I'm an optimist as well about the European ecosystem, but we are still, I mean, Spotify is one of our biggest, maybe the biggest tech success we've had. And we're still pretty far away from hitting the $1 trillion marks and crowning something that actually builds an ecosystem like Alphabet, Google, or like Nvidia now with AI. What do you think is missing? Like, is that just how things are, that those companies gets to the largest market and it's really, really hard to build them, or maybe impossible elsewhere? Or is there something that we can add and see, I mean, with today's measures, $1 trillion market cap company come out of Europe?
I absolutely think so. Most of the companies that become those kind of generational large platform companies, they are grown out of let's say a technology shift. That's where sort of they find their first platform to build from. And it was a long time since Europe had that in the telco industry, for instance. Now the AI world is probably the next big S-curve that is happening as we speak. It seems like most of those companies at this point are American, with a few exceptions from outside of the US. I do think that you could probably build on the application layer on top of the AI companies, because I also do think that the large language models is also an area which will be commoditized relatively soon, that you will have 6, 7 huge large language models that will service everyone, like, you know, Amazon Cloud, you know, AWS, Azure, etc. They are almost like non-differentiated services that everyone can use, and the big differentiation happens on top of those. And that's, I think, the opportunity on the AI side for Europe. And there are quite a few companies that are sort of addressing the markets like that.
All right. Thank you so much,
Thank
PJ.
you.
Awesome to have a little chat.
Thank you.